This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Brosum. But before that, this video is brought to you by Jeff Scott and UTB. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Brosum map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you a little bit of the description. This is a fictional map located somewhere on the north coast of Germany. Your desire is to make holidays here, but there is no time for that. There is much to do. An out-of-date cow farm needs you to make it a modern farming business. This map includes 101 purchasable farmlands, 93 fields, medium to small, 5 selling points, 10 production facilities, a biogas plant, cow farm, and a sheep area. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now this map also includes 3 required mods which are not listed in the description. That is the old cow shed, the Dutch shed pack, and the old farm package. If you do not have those mods already downloaded and activated, you will not be able to load into the map. Now, those 3 mods are a part of the Giants mod hub, so they will automatically download if you don't already have them. But I did want to point that out because the requirements are not listed, as I said, in the description. Now, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that this main farm is built out exactly how you see it here. The only difference is you do not have any starting machinery as compared to new farmer mode, which is what we are loading into right now. And also, when you load into this map, you do not start at the main farm. You start here at the Neapolitan Pizza sell point, kind of in town. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. First thing you'll notice when we look at the lands area is the fields on this map are rectangular for the most part. And we start out by owning area 53 and 69. The main farm is here on 53. There is a sheep area over here at area 63. And area 26 is where there is a biogas plant that can be bought for $364,000. Now, if we take a look at our crop types, we do not have all of the standard crop types available to us here on this map. We are actually missing cotton and sugarcane. So if you're looking to become a cotton farmer in Germany, well, this map is not going to be for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. And we use the farmland lease screen as a way of seeing the various farmlands, how big those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any fields, which fields do they include, and then ultimately how much that farmland is going to cost. So as I scroll through this list, you can pause, rewind, and take a look and see the various farmlands and fields. Because when we were done this list, we're going to go take a look at the field calculator screen, which is going to show us the specific fields and how big each of those specific fields are. Here we have the field calculator screen. You can see we start out by owning field 44, which is 0.54 hectares in size. And as we scroll through the list, you're going to see a lot of fields are somewhere between 2 and 1 hectares in size. Field 28 is 5.23. It's one of the larger fields on this particular map. Then we have areas like field 46, which is 0.38 hectares, which is going to be one of the smaller fields on this particular map. If we take a look at our crop counter, we do have the standard base game crop counter available to us in Brosum. And also, if we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed actually have the ability to sell all of the base game crops that we can actually grow on this map. So when I say that, I mean cotton and sugarcane are not listed in the crops on the PDA. We do have them listed here as sell points, but I really don't see us being able to grow those. Let's go back here and take a look at our crop counter. No, they're not showing up here on the crop counter at all. Now, if you disable the crop counter, you may be able to grow cotton, and sugarcane. It's not something I've tested, but it may be something that's possible. Now, if we come down here and take a look, we can indeed sell all of our animal outputs. And as we move down, we have our sell points for silage, hay, straw, and grass. And then as we also take a look at all of the base game productions, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game productions. We also have the ability to buy bulk lime. And we also have a stone crusher. Now, this is the very first map that we have taken a look at after the Platinum Edition has released, other than Silver Run Forest. I do have the Platinum Edition activated, and as you're going to see on this list, and it's no real giant surprise, that we do not have the ability to sell any of the Platinum Expansion production fill types. What I am curious from you guys is, should we going forward, at some point in time, expect to be able to sell Platinum Edition products also on mod maps, now that the Platinum Edition is out? I'm thinking quite possibly that maybe we wait until 2023 to really hold the maps iron in the fire with respect to having the ability to sell Platinum Edition sell point or production items. But I do want to know what you all think down in the comments below. Should we care about Platinum production items with respect to our prices scoring metric? Now, if you do play with pumps and hoses, you will see that we do have the ability to sell our separated manure at the livestock market. We do start out with a small list of starting machinery. It is all owned, none of it is leased, and some of it has some maintenance issues that you may want to take a look at. We do not start with any animals, but we do have a cow barn and sheep pasture on the map. We do have contracts available. We do not own any production chains at the start, and this map does have 12 collectibles. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the Steyr 8150 small tractor, the John Deere 7810 medium tractor. We have the Dusfar Topliner 4090H harvester that is paired up with the 4090H grain header and, of course, the 4090H header trailer. We have the Rudolph DK280RL trailer as well as the Welger DK115 trailer. The Horsch Terreno 3FX cultivator. We have the Nordstein HK25NS3030 seeder. And we also have the Kuhn GMT 4411 side mower. We have the Pottinger Alpine Hit 4.4H tedder. We have the Pottinger Top 342 windrower. The Massey Ferguson 1840 small square baler, as well as a 900 kilogram John Deere weight and a 750 kilogram front weight. Take a look at our mods and DLCs. You will see that there are no custom vehicles or machinery that is a part of this particular map. With that, we're going to just quickly tab over to our starting farm here. And this is where we are going to see those required mods. So we're using required mods here at the starting farm and other areas of the map. We have a maintenance trigger located inside of here. A power washer. This is going to be our cow area. So here we have the pickup point for our milk. We're at animal drop-off point, 35 cows in this particular building. We're going to have our slurry pickup. And then our food trough and straw are going to be inside of here. We have a standard FS22 farm silo, so we have our dump and fill point. We have a nice, open, easy shed. And then we have a farmhouse that is going to be located right here. We have our sleep trigger. And then the farmhouse has a bit of a barn also attached to it. I wonder what that is. All right, any rate. And that is basically the main starting farm. Now, we can sell all of the buildings and the decorative items that are part of this. So if we wanted to completely sell all of this and kind of start with our own buildings, we are going to be able to do that in all play modes. So we can do that in new farmer mode, farm manager mode, or start from scratch once we buy the land. Let's go ahead and take a look at our precision farming soil map, because once again, I have completely forgotten about that. This map is using the French soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. You will see that the main starting farm, the field that we start out with, is a mix of sandy loam and loam. We've got a good swath of silty clay to the south and north of the center of town. And then on the eastern side of the map, we've got a good bit of loam going north and south. Let's get a little bit of altitude. We can get a little better idea of what our main starting farm looks like here. Yeah, we'll take a look. And overall, this is a flat map. Not a whole lot going on as far as rolling hills. There is a berm that is on the western side of the map that kind of protects this area from the ocean or this waterway. But overall, this is a very, very flat map. We also have areas like this, which kind of look like alternate playing areas, right? But if we come here and take a look at our lands, you're going to see that they are not viable. So this is where we are right here. That is not viable land. A lot of the decorative areas where you think, oh, that could be a kind of a secondary farm. It'd be a nice secondary farm. Indeed, it would be, but it is actually not on viable soil. Coming across the southern part of the map, we have our sawmill. And speaking of production, this map actually has 13 production facilities built in. So I know the description said that there were 10, but there are actually 13. We have the sawmill. We have the grape processing center, which we can see right here, as well as the oil and sugar mills, which are again also showing up right here. We have a biomass heating plant. We also have 2 bakeries. We have the BGA. We have a dairy. We have a cereal mill. We have a grain mill, a spinnery, carpentry, and also a tailor. Again, in addition to the production that we saw down here at the south. We've got our stone crusher. We have a bulk lime buy point also down here. Here's our biogas plant. And our biogas plant has some rather interesting floaty icons. So right here at the entrance, we have a nice floaty question mark. And then just kind of behind this bunker, above field 70, we also have an interesting floating question mark. But there you have your biogas plant. You will need to buy that for the triggers to show up. So we now move across the eastern edge of the map. We have our animal dealer. And then our animal dealer sell point. Got more of the production kind of through here in the center of town. This would be another area that would be an excellent kind of secondary player area. But again, it is on non-buyable land. We have our dairy up there to the north. We have our tailor below. Now, our vehicle shop is going to be located over here to the left. We're just going to skip over that briefly. We'll be right back to that. We have our fuel depot right across from the dealer. Then another kind of missed opportunity, I think, for the map author. We have 8 large greenhouses sitting here. These are not buyable. They're not usable in any way. They're decorative. It would have been nice to have had these as actual productionable, buyable, usable, large greenhouses. In this area, we have a sell point. Here we have our grain mill. We have our cereal factory. We have several sell points. In fact, this is the restaurant that we started out at when we load up the map for the very first time. We have our spinnery, our carpentry facility, grocery store, selling point. This is one of the bakeries that is on the map. That is the Holtbetheroon Bakery. Over here we have the Farmers Market sell point. Now, with the release of the Platinum Edition, forestry is on lots of people's minds. This is pretty not a very good map for forestry because these trees are not the type that are easily harvested. So if you're looking to maybe do a little bit of Platinum Edition forestry, this probably isn't going to be the best map for you. Down here we have a water trigger as well as the sheep pasture. And we'll be buying the sheep pasture and demonstrating that in our drive around. But here is that hillside, that berm, basically. We do have some buyable plots to the left of the berm. Everything to the right is unbuyable. We can't buy any of the land over here on the right. I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I can kind of also get it because, well, maybe this over here on the right is kind of a flood area. Well, if it is, I feel kind of bad for Mama Joe's Diner down here in this flood area. Then I also have another sell point down here. Got a little camp area, we've got a little playground area, and then a boat dock. But I feel like the whole western side of the map feels a little bit of a missed opportunity again. Now we're going to fly back over to the vehicle dealer. Then we'll get around to our drive around. But right over here, this is where our second bakery is. So here we have the dealer, and we'll go ahead and set down. We have our dealer trigger on the side of this facility. Armon Motors, I believe it is. Go ahead and get our Mahindra. There we have our spawn point for our vehicles. And then our maintenance trigger is actually located over here. And while we don't have markers actually listing where the maintenance area is, the trigger is outside of this building. So while we can go inside, the actual maintenance trigger is on the outside of the building. Right there. Right across from the shop, as I said, we have our fuel. Don't mind me in my forestry get-up. I just hadn't changed my outfit from our live streams earlier this week. If you're watching this right when the video drops, we've been doing some live streams on the Platinum Edition map. Here we have our Tailor. We have our wardrobe trigger in the front. We have our pallet dump point. We have our interactive trigger on the side. And of course our pallet spawn point around the back. Let's make our way over to the dairy. I'd say this map has an interesting combination of fields that can and cannot be easily merged, but I do feel that you're going to be able to merge a bulk or large majority of these fields if you're looking for something larger. We have our interactive trigger at the front door. We're going to have our dump station along the side, and then our pallet spawn point again around the back. Motor down. The west side, or sorry, the east side of the map here. We'll double back a little bit. I want to come over here because this is where the animal dealer is located. So we have our animal dealer trigger, and we're not seeing the actual markers on the ground. It would be nice to have seen the actual markers on the ground. And then around the back, we have our animal dealer sell point. Now, with respect to our scoring, we are going to give the map a full point with respect to having production built in or areas set aside for such. With 13 production facilities already built into the map, there is plenty of production built in to earn a full point there. We are going to give the map a full point with respect to having the ability to buy and not sell, but buy all of the base game crops that we can grow on this map, as well as animal outputs and base game productions. As I said during that segment of the video, right now this map does not include the ability to sell any of the Platinum expansion production items, and quite frankly, I really don't expect it to at this point. But should we, leave a comment down below, should we in the future basically hold mappers and hold maps to that standard of also including the ability to sell base game production as well as Platinum expansion production? I don't know. I think maybe we should, but if we do, we probably shouldn't start until 2023 year. So here we have our cereal factory, we have our dump point, interactive icon, and pallet spawn point. We have our grain mill. Located right there. Again, with all of those triggers. Now we'll move up where we have the 8 unfunctional greenhouses. We have a sell point located right here. And this particular sell point is the country trading point. So we also have an electric charging station here around the back somewhere. I don't know, is it in the building? Or could it be alongside of the building? Or is that a completely misplaced icon? Because I am not seeing an electric charging station. Should be basically where this building is. But it's not existing. Interesting. Nonetheless. We have our spinnery with a floating pallet icons. We have our dump point and our interactive icon. We have our carpentry facility with our wood cell trigger and our drop point for planks. We have then our pallet spawn point for furniture and our interactive icon there. We have our sell point here at the supermarket. And then here is the starting area. This is the Neapolitan pizza place that we start out with, standing at. Here we have the Haute Belleroon Bakery, the French bakery, with our pallet spawn point, our dump station, and interactive icon around the back. Make our way around the town here. And here we have the farmer's market sell point. A little tight getting into here. There we have the sell point there. This would be the access road that we would more than likely properly take. But again, fairly tight to get in there. So don't be coming in here with a super long semi-trailer or anything like that. Now, with respect to buildings using the new appropriate texturing technique, we're going to give the map a full point there. Some of these houses maybe are a little suspect as to if they're actually using the parallax technique here on the side of the buildings. So when you get up close to them, they kind of look, they don't really look super parallaxy, if you will. But they are all using the new windowing technique to give some depth to the interior. So we are going to give all those buildings credit for that. All the other buildings are pretty much base game production facilities. There's a lot going on over here on this particular side of the map. And here we have the large grain sell point. Come through the scale. And we have our dump point. See if we can't get out of here. We'll make our way down to the biogas plant. And again, we can buy the biogas plant for something like $360,000. So we have the biogas plant south of field 70. We got to come through here. We do have a methane fuel depot, a fuel pump. We've got our interactive, so we're going to have our digestate there. We're going to have our manure dump point for our slurry. We're going to have our digester itself. We've got some nice machine sheds here in order to some machine sheds for our biogas plant machinery if we do own and operate the biogas plant. We have two large three-sided silage bunkers also, and BGA set up fairly well that you could probably do the old unload with conveyor belts trick without too much hassle. And across the southern part of the map, we have our stone crusher, our bulk lime buy point. And we have our sugar production dump point, interactive icon, and pallet spawn point around the front. Actually, we don't see the pallet spawn point. It's not really marked, so not a good sign. We have our oil mill, interactive icon, dump point, pallet spawn point clearly indicated. We have our biomass heating plant for selling of wood chips or logs. Bark rape processing facility. It's located right here. Dump point, interactive icon, pallet spawn point, all clearly marked. And it looks like I'm going to have to double back to continue on to the sawmill. So all of these areas where we're not seeing interactive markers, or not interactive markers, where we're not seeing the yellow and black dump markers on the ground, that is ultimately going to affect the final scoring metric of player interactive areas being clearly marked. We also have some areas where, well, there are hotspots on the PDA, but no apparent electric charging stations. So that is also going to play into the interactive areas and such being clearly marked. So we have our sawmill, we have our wood cell trigger, we have our pallet spawn point for our planks, we have our interactive trigger, and then our area for wood chips. We're going to make our way over to the western side of the map now. Now, are these are potatoes, right? Yes, those are potatoes. I was about to say, we don't have cotton at all, but those are not cotton, that's potatoes. Let's head on over here to the final parts of the map, which are going to be coming up along the western side. We'll do a little in-cab driving on our way over there. So this is the only hilly part of the map. Do like the details with the stairs leading up to the kind of walkway over the top of the berm. At least that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the berm. We have another restaurant sell point. Then we have Mama Joe's Diner sell point, located right there. But it is a big shame that this whole area along this side is just not usable. We can't buy any of it. We can't buy this. We can't buy this area down here either. So if we take a look at our lands again, yeah, we're right here. We can't buy this. Would be great for like building out your own farm. We can't buy any of this area here. We can't buy this area up here in the northwest corner. Our second bakery is over here on the right. So we have our interactive icon, our dump point, and our pallet spawn point around the back. And then we'll make our way up to the final area that we're going to talk about, which is where the sheep pasture is and the water trigger. This again could be a really... Now this is actually buyable, sorry. This is actually buyable land. I was going to say this would be really nice if it was buyable. Well, it is actually. So this is buyable land. And let's go ahead and see. We don't own this land yet. See, we do not own a 63 yet. We can buy it for $45,000. But can I buy sheep? I can indeed buy sheep. 15 sheep in this facility. Now, one question would be, can you dump in here without owning the land? But there you go. There's the sheep. So we're going to wrap it all up with the final scoring metric of trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. And I'm going to have to say, for the most part, somewhat, but not exactly. So we're going to give the map a half a point. We're going to give the map a half of a point for that. We're going to take points off because some of the hotspots on this map, like this electric charging station, they didn't exist. Couldn't find it. And then lots of these other areas didn't have the yellow and black markers. So 4.5, that is not a bad score though for any map. So that is still rather respectable. 4.5 out of 5. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Remember, we're curious. Should we hold maps to the fire with respect to having the ability to also sell now production outputs from the Platinum expansion, now that that is out? And until next time, happy farming.